what are we going to do today? Today, we are going to talk about sugars. All right. Why do we need sugars? How do we get sugars? And how we can get sugars from other stuff. Okay? But first things first, welcome to Distillers Corner number 3. It's about sugars. But like always, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. All right, before we get moving on, let's get the 5 things out of the way. There's 5 things that you can really do to help this channel out, and we need it. Is first, hit that subscribe button. It's down there in one of them corners or somewhere. And you might as well hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when we come out with new content. Share us with your friends. Give us that thumbs up. And please leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to ask a real question. It might seem silly, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why do we need sugar? Well, the very short answer is we need the sugar for the yeast to eat to produce alcohol, which is everything that we try to do. All right, that was... Yes, okay. But in the distilled, there is many sugars, but in the distilled word, I consider I can think of 3 sugars that we need or we can use that's available to us. All right. The first one is a natural sugar. You'll have it in fruits, beets, vegetables, and stuff like that in some vegetables, not all. And what are we going to make out of that? Well, you can make brandies, you can make meads and wines and all that stuff. And that is the natural sugar, right? They're very easy for us to use and to get to. The next one on my list would be processed sugars, okay? And to me, processed sugars is your white table sugar, your molasses, your brown sugars, and such, okay? And one thing I forgot up here, the natural sugars, is honey's, I believe, is in the natural sugar thing. Anyway, back to processed sugars. Okay, like I said before, white table sugar, molasses, brown sugar. Then what do we use them for? Well, there's a lot of different uses. We make sugar shines. If you got molasses and brown sugar, you're going to make some rum. And sometimes you add, like, say, table sugar to, maybe your numbers are off a little bit and you want to try to boost them up so that you get a good yield off your mash. You could add a little table sugar to a recipe to boost up them starting gravity numbers, okay? So that is what I consider processed sugars. They can be processed from sugar cane, sugar beets, and so on, and that's what processed sugar is to me. All right, and there's probably more out there, okay? Now, the big one. The big one then is, I call it converted sugars. Converted sugars to me come from grains, right? Like corn, wheat, barley, rye, anything that I'm gonna call a seed or a starch. Anything with starches, like even potatoes, sweet potatoes. So there's a lot of different stuff in there that you can get converted sugars, but they don't actually have sugar, and we have to convert them. Now, this is the fun one. Okay, but I'm going to just reference to seeds just because that's the easiest, right? So grains are seeds, and they're full of starch, and there ain't no sugar there, right? So let's see, how does this work in nature? Okay, in nature, once the seed is produced, it falls to the ground, and you get it wet and you get it warm, it will produce, well, let me back up a little bit. That seed has no starch in it. Back up. That seed has no sugar in it. It's just a big hunk of starch, and the seed can't use that starch to grow. It needs sugar. Okay, so let's go back. The seed falls, it gets wet, it gets warm, It just starts to grow, and the first thing it does is it produces a enzyme, right, in the seed to start converting that starch, which is the fuel for that seed, the food for that seed, and it will convert it into sugar so that the plant can grow. All right. So, how do we use it? Well, if you take, let's say you take malted barley, okay, and you got a guy named a maltster, and what he does is he takes all them seeds of barley, he gets it all wet, he gets it warm, and when it starts to grow, it changes, it produces an enzyme to start converting the starch into sugar. The seed just starts to grow, and what they'll do is they'll dry it out, and then everything stops. But since it's already got the enzyme produced, it don't go away, okay? All right, so they dry it out, and then we'll get it. You can malt your own grain. It is a process. I've never done it myself, but there is a process. So what you do is, say I am wanting to make a bourbon. Okay, I use just yellow corn, right? It's not been malted or anything like that. And I use malted barley. Okay, I mix the two together, and the barley has the enzyme, the malted barley already has the enzyme in it from the malting process, and it makes so much that it has more than it needs to convert itself, and it will convert anything that's around it, okay? And that's how you get the corn to convert those starches over into sugars for what we need to make alcohol. It's a simple process in one way, but a lot real difficult in another, okay? The other way that we could do that is they do make enzymes in a factory. You know, they're produced enzymes, and you can buy them like a high temperature enzyme, which I'll use a lot of times. What is really nice about that is, say I got a lot of corn and it's really thick and all that stuff. If I could put high temperature enzymes, it will really thin out the mash a lot more and then help the barley enzymes do its job. All right. Oh. This is the fun part. This is where the science really takes over. All right. So that's how this conversion takes place. But let's, how do we do that conversion? Like I said before, we take the grains and we mix them together, and we will mix it with, let's say, 152 degree water. And after about an hour and a half, it should convert all them starches that's in that container or mash tun, whatever you might be using, and we'll convert them over into sugars, all right? And that's how these enzymes work. It's really interesting. You know, it's pretty fun. I mean, that's what I like to do the most. Is there anything, well, everything, how do I want to put this? Everything has a taste. To me, my taste, I prefer, all grains and producing the sugars that way. I love whiskeys. I love bourbons. Don't get me wrong. I like my fair share of rums, which are made with more sugars, or molasses, which is a byproduct of the sugar making process. I enjoy a good rum. Vodka is one of those weird spirits that a lot of people love, and well, I'll say the flavors. A lot of people say that you have to make vodka out of potatoes. That is not the case. Vodka is more of a process than what you make it out of. You can make vodka out of anything that will ferment. Okay, and the short answer for the process is you're going to distill it at a real high ABV to make it as pure as you can, and then you're going to reduce that with water down to your drinking pleasure, okay, which mine would be, let's say, 80 to 100 ml. All right, so that's vodka. Let's see, what else? And you will always get a slight taste. I mean, the last I made was sweet potato vodka, and I loved the taste of it. It just was fantastic. I've made it out of corn. I made it out of grains, and they all have their own little character, which is fantastic. All right, your whiskeys and your bourbons, they're usually a grain product. You can take it like an American single malt, which is just going to be grain, or you can take bourbon, which is going to be 51% corn at least, and other grains. You can take, what else we got? Rums are going to be, like I said before, they're made out of molasses and sugars. What am I forgetting? Oh, brandies, they're going to be made out of fermented fruits in some way. What am I thinking? What am I missing? Oh, I've got one of my favorites. My favorites is moonshines. All right, and to me, and this is one of them things that you're going to get a little slack on of what moonshine is. All right, to me, my opinion, moonshine, it started out, it was a produced product that they done under the moonlight because it was illegal and there was no taxes paid. And I think it grew into, in my opinion, basically moonshine is a corn-based product, in my opinion, and it can be done, it can be drank, enjoyed just the way it was. I call that corn liquor. You can age it, which is, I love that. Age it with some oak, that is fantastic, or you can post flavor. And I consider them all moonshines. I think they're all fantastic. Am I forgetting anything? I probably am. Okay. All right. So in closing, like I said, everything has its own flavor. And in this process, which we talked about, making these sugars and fermenting them out, most of the time, you're only going to produce 12, if you're lucky, 14% alcohol. And then what this still does, it kind of separates the alcohol from the water, and it will raise the ABV of that such. All right, and that's the long and short of what we're trying to do. You make beer, it's usually 5%, and that's a high one. And some of them are 9, that's a real high beer. So, hey, and then still, you got to make distillers beer before you make a distilled product, all right? So sugar is a real fun thing to work with. It's a necessary. We can't do what we do without sugar. It's just different ways that we get our sugar, all right? So, I don't know if I confused you or helped you, but I sure do. I hope I helped. And just remember, it's all good, and we will get sugars one way or another. And all right, so that is Distiller's Corner about sugar. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. If there is other topics you want to talk about, please leave them down in the description or in the comment section, and I keep a list of them and we'll talk about them. So please do so. And I guess the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here with Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.